Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name is Tony Ingram, and this is, we are, get the right date here. We are episode 101, April 23rd, 2015, sorry. We are recording, and if you want to see all of our episodes or see this one again, go to our vid blog at walkinpark.com. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about a lot of parks, and we're going to start off with Robert H. Treman State Park near Ithaca. And this is a second annual I Love My Park Day coming up. And it's organized by an organization called Parks and Trails New York in partnership with the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation. Going on all over New York State in many, many parks, volunteers are getting together to help out on May 2nd. And you can go to their website at, we'll tell you what, first of all, I'll tell you what we're doing. We're going to do some campsite improvement. And there's the website here. Campsite improvement, planting trees, picnic tables, assembling picnic tables, raking cleanup, painting campsite posts, and other activities. This time it's going to be in the lower park. Last year it was in the upper park. And it was really quite a fun morning, 9 to 12. So if you're interested in helping out, we certainly can use your help. I'm on the board of trustees for the past president of the Friends of Robert H. Treman State Park, which is sponsoring this event locally. So a lot of local businesses and so forth get involved as well. We're going to look at a quick video of last year's events. So just stand by. We'll have that one up. Get it up on the monitor here. I have to cue it on up. Going down the door. On May 3rd, 2014, volunteers gathered at Robert H. Treman State Park near Ithaca to participate in I Love My Park Day, which was occurring at parks all over New York.
If I look away, I can't see a big
And you're here at I Love My Park Day?
Yep.
With what group is volunteering?
Flora Rose House from Cornell University, one of the West Campus residential communities.
Yeah.
We're taking the stones and the sandbags from the stairs that you see up there down and then bringing them back over here and piling them up to be used further down in the park.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they had all that storm damage.
Yeah, a lot of storm damage.
Flooding damage. Oh.
It's a lot worse than I actually thought it was, too.
Yeah. Part of the upper gorge will remain closed until trail repairs are complete. I don't know if you noticed all the food there too. We have a really nice lunch that is the food supplied by many of the stores and restaurants and so forth shown there. So it's a great event. It helps us get the park open for the season, and heaven knows they can use a lot of help with all the work they've got to do to get ready. So once again, if you want to help us out, if you're watching this show before May 2nd, 2015, go to this website, and that'll give you a link to the Parks and Trails New York sign-up registration list there. You can also just show up and sign up, but it's much better if you do it online ahead of time. Okay, so now we're going to go to all over the country, or at least much of the country, and take a look at the 10 best state parks. 10 best state parks in the country as chosen by readers of USA Today and the 10 best, which is associated with them. The earliest state parks in the United States date back to the mid-1800s, and today the 50 states collectively manage well over 6,000 state park units. They're drawing over 700 million annual visitors. Didn't know we had that many people. After 4 weeks of voting, the polls are closed, and the winners of the USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Award for the best state park were chosen. Panel of experts picked the initial 20 nominees, and the top 10 winners were determined by popular vote. So people went online every day. You could vote once a day, and there was a big race going on for those that were in the top tiers. That things jostled all around. But we're going to start off. Start off with number 10, which is Hunting Island State Park. This was winner number 10. See what I can tell you about Hunting Island State Park, South Carolina. It's a 5,000-acre secluded semi-tropical barrier island located 15 miles east of Beaufort, South Carolina. Since 1935, it has been classified as a state park. It is the most visited state park facility in South Carolina, and it's part of the ACE Basin Estuarine. What is it here? Let me get another picture up here. Estuarine Reserve Area. Renowned for its natural beauty, the island remains one of the few remaining undeveloped sea islands in the low country of South Carolina. So that's a pretty interesting spot. So the park is known for its 19th century lighthouse, which bears its name. That's what we saw up here. The park's unique beach has been featured in several travel publications. So that's a boardwalk there. And it was listed in 2013 as a top 25 beach in the United States by TripAdvisor. I don't have a beach shot, but here's the campground. So you may want to go down there and check out number 10, and then go, if you want to go to the next one, that folks around the country that were voting every day online at USA Today, best 10 out of D, chose Custer State Park in South Dakota. South Dakota. Located in the rugged Black Hills of South Dakota, Custer State Park protects 71,000 acres of terrain and a herd of some 1,300 bison, one of the largest publicly owned herds on the planet. We're known to stop traffic along the park's wildlife loop from time to time. Okay, so take a look here. This one is visitors can summit nearby 7,242 feet high Harney Peak for sweeping views over the prairies, hills, and granite needles that make Custer unique. I don't think it's actually in the park. It's right next to the park in a wilderness area. And let's see what do we got next here. Pronghorn at the Wildlife Loop Road in the park. Okay. Park is South Dakota's largest and first state park, named after Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. The park is home to the famous herd of 1,500 free-roaming bison. We talked about that. Elk, mule deer, white-tailed deer, mountain goats, bighorn sheep, pronghorn. That's what this is. So they sometimes call it a pronghorn antelope, but technically it's not an antelope. Mountain lions and feral burros also inhabit the park. The park is famous for its scenery, its scenic drives. See if anything else? No, I don't. Scenic drives with views of the bison herd and prairie dog towns. Park is easily accessible by road from Rapid City. Other nearby attractions are Wind Cave National Park, Mount Rushmore, Jewel Cave National Monument, Crazy Horse Memorial, and Badlands National Park. So that's a pretty amazing area over there. If you're out in the upper Midwest, South Dakota, that sort of thing. So now let's go on to the next one. This is Assateague State Park in Maryland. So, Assateague State Park, Maryland's only oceanfront state park. Assateague Barrier Island is sandwiched between the Atlantic and the Sinnepunxet Bay, just 9 miles outside of Ocean City. This scenic seaside park offers 2 miles of ocean beaches, perfect for swimming, sunning, and shelling and kayaking and canoeing opportunities in the bayside coves and marshes where it's possible to spot waterfowl, deer, and the island's famed feral horses. So what are we going to say about... Oops. Okay, I lost my... Got something else to say about that here. Lost my page. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, Assateague Island, that's what we're seeing here, is a 37-mile-long barrier island located off the eastern coast of Delmarva. That's Delaware, Maryland, Virginia Peninsula. The northern two-thirds of the island is in Maryland, while the southern third is in Virginia. This is now the whole island that Assateague State Park is in. The Maryland section contains the majority of Assateague Island National Seashore and Assateague State Park. Virginia section contains Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge, and a small part of the National Seashore is best known for its herds of feral horses, pristine beaches, and the Assateague Lighthouse. Island also contains numerous marshes, bays, coves. Bridge access requires is possible from both Maryland and Virginia, though no road runs the full length of the island. So Ocean City, Maryland is in the upper right there. I don't know if you can make that out. Well, now we're going to pop over to number 7, Indiana Dunes State Park. Indiana Dunes consists of 2,182 acres of primitive, beautiful, historic, and unique Hoosier landscape. It includes more than 3 miles of beautiful beach along Lake Michigan's southern shore. So let's see just where that is. There's Indiana, and there's its little bit of shoreline, the upper portion there of Lake Michigan, and it's Indiana Dunes State Park along there. Now it's actually surrounded in the east, south, and west by the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore, which is a unit of the National Park Service. So it's surrounded by a national park, and together the state and national park create an amazing place to visit. All right. These guys, in the early 1900s, scientists, recreationists, and nature enthusiasts, recognizing the value and potential of the Indiana Dunes area, fought to have the region preserved. As a result, in 1925, the state park was established. That's actually the same year that Teganic Falls State Park was established, 1925, right here. Large sand dunes located beyond the entire shoreline have taken thousands of years to form and tower nearly 200 feet above Lake Michigan. The 1,530 acres of Dunes Nature Preserve makes up the bulk of the eastern part of the park and includes most of the park's hiking trails and dune landscape. A wide range of habitats and plant species are found in the park, with vegetation stabilizing some of the sand. These habitats provide homes for many types of plants and animals. The lake also provides habitat for many aquatic species, as well as a constantly changing fishery. So that was Indiana Dunes State Park. Let's go to number 6. Teganic Falls, right? No. That's Fall Creek Falls State Park in Tennessee. It looks a lot like Teganic Falls at first glance. There's actually 2 waterfalls there. A larger one in the center, and on the right there is a smaller one, which also can get quite large when it rains. Fall Creek Falls, Tennessee's largest and most visited state park, gets its name from the 256-foot cascade, one of the highest in the eastern United States, that numbers among the park's many other waterfalls and gorges. Now, Teganic Falls, which a lot of people have thought is the highest waterfall in the east, is 215 feet. This is 256 feet. Dropping basically in a single drop. And actually there are other waterfalls in New York that are higher than Teganic. But that's another story, which we talk about from time to time. One of the park's many other waterfalls and gorges. Just another waterfall. The park encompasses 26,000 acres and more than 34 miles of trails, ranging from short day hikes to 2 long-distance overnight trails. So this is down in Tennessee. Go hiking in Fall Creek Falls State Park, 26,000 acres to roam. And you compare that to a place like Teganic Falls, which has about 1,000 acres. So this is big. This is a big park. And this is actually almost twice as big as the Finger Lakes National Forest, which is, 16,000 acres, something like that. There's a bridge across a gorge. Yeah. A nature center, golf course, horse stables, playgrounds, and picnic pavilions add to the appeal. So I'm reading a lot of copy off of different places, description of the parks from different websites and so forth. We're going to go to number 5 now. Devil's Lake State Park, the biggest state park in Wisconsin. Okay, well, just where is that? Well, there's Wisconsin, and there's Lake Michigan on the right and Lake Superior up above. And then you can see that little locator map in the upper right showing you where Wisconsin is. Most people know where it is. And in the south central part of the state, southwestern central part of the state, is the location of the park. It's around 35 miles northwest of Madison and is on the western edge of the last ice sheet deposited during the Wisconsin glaciation, the last deposits of the ice sheet. Though this is about as far south as the last glacier got, which was maybe out of here by 12,000 years ago, I'm going to guess. Take a look at this scene here. Okay, there's Devil's Lake again. The 9,217-acre state park, boy, that's a big one, is known for its 500-foot-high quartzite cliffs along the 360-acre Devil's Lake, which was created by a glacier during the last ice age, approximately 12,000 years ago. And you can see the cliffs are rising on the right there. I've not been to most of these places. Okay. The Baraboo Range National Natural Landmark is 50,700 acres in southern Wisconsin. It is an exhumed mountain range consisting of the largest contiguous forest in southern Wisconsin. The range is largely composed of Baraboo quartzite and is divided in half by Devil's Lake. The highest point of the range is 1,620 feet. So it's not real high, but it's got some rugged spots there that are a function of the Ice Age. The lake is surrounded by a mixed conifer deciduous forest, and the Baraboo Hills are also home to one of the largest contiguous hardwood forests in the Midwest. Its scenic beauty, along with its proximity to the Wisconsin Dells, has made it one of the most popular Wisconsin state parks for both day use and overnight camping. The park receives over 1.2 million visitors each year. One of the top destinations in the Midwest for rock climbing, Devil's Lake State Park is famous for its, again, 500-foot quartzite bluffs created by glacial activity thousands of years ago. Some more pictures of it here. The Baraboo Hills are thought to be much older than the Devil's Lake itself. They are approximately 1.6 billion years old. That is some of the oldest rock on the surface in the continent, and were once part of the Baraboo Range, which is thought to have been taller than the Rocky Mountains. That's about the age of the mountains at the bottom of the rocks at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Okay, so what do we have for number 4? Number 4, where would that be? Well, it's got to go to Missouri. Got chopped off on the right there. Tonka State Park, number 4. Missouri is located in the on the Niangua arm of the Lake of the Ozarks. The most notable feature of the park is the stone ruins of the mansion nicknamed the Castle because it was modeled after later European castles from the 1500s. So somebody built a mansion there, a castle-like mansion, and now it's in ruins, but I guess it's an interesting spot to visit. It seems to be propped up on this bluff here over the lake, and so that's a pretty scenic area. Boats down on the lake, and some rolling hills and fields and what have you. Yeah. And then some amenities along the lakeshore. More than 15 miles of trail wind through the park, and picnicking, fishing, and camping are also available. This is the Devil's Kitchen Trail. Okay. So what? Maybe you know. What is number 3, the third most popular state park in this poll taken by USA 10 Best last month in March? What is it? It's our own Watkins Glen State Park. How about that? That is very cool. Watkins Glen State Park is in the third most popular state park according to the poll taken And we are very familiar with that, aren't we? So let's take this little aerial view by photographer Bill Hecht looking from the west. There's the railroad bridge that goes over the upper gorge, and the gorge winding towards the village of Watkins Glen. In the upper left is the southern end of Seneca Lake. Quite a gorge. We love Watkins Glen State Park. Third most popular park in the country. So there's lots of neat stuff there. As you know, as the stream Glen Creek has eroded its way down through the shale and sandstone and siltstone and limestone. Minnehaha Falls, Cavern Gorge, Cavern Cascade, you can walk behind Cavern Cascade. Rainbow Falls, one of the most photographed places in the park. It's going to be opening up next month, so we can get in there. There's still a lot of ice in there, and they have to clean the loose rock off the cliffs. But Watkins Glen State Park, here it is in the fall. It's an area called, I call it anyway, Glen Arcadia. And you can learn a lot more about Watkins Glen State Park from this book I wrote called Watkins Glen Water Sculpture in Stone. And go to my website. I guess you can find out about that. Anyway, so what's number two? Number two. Place actually I've known about for years but never been to and would like to go to up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on the shores of Lake Superior is Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park. Now this park in the poll throughout the month was trading places with the number one park, which we'll tell you about in a couple of minutes. But here's where it's located. Now you look at, there's Michigan, there's a lower peninsula and the upper peninsula. And the upper peninsula is on the southern shore of Lake Superior. In that red dot in the upper left, that is the location of Porcupine Mountains State Park. Let's see, well we can see, I'll go back to this picture here and read the caption. Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park, or the Porkies as it is known to frequent visitors, encompasses 60,000 acres of lakes, rivers, and virgin forest. The park offers camping on the shores of Lake Superior, 90 miles of hiking trails, kayak rentals, mountain biking, and in the winter, access to the Porcupine Mountains ski area. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. This is the most striking geological feature of the Porcupine Mountains is the long basalt and conglomerate escarpment parallel to the Lake Superior shore and overlooking Lake of the Clouds, a continuation of the same copper-bearing bedrock found farther northeast on the Keweenaw Peninsula. A second ridge farther inland on the other side of the Lake of the Clouds concludes Summit Peak, the highest point in the mountains at 1,958 feet. Rivers, waterfalls, swamps, and lakes lie between the rocky outcroppings. There are a number of waterfalls on the Presque Isle River in the extreme western side of the park, so that looks like a pretty cool place to visit. But it's not real close to us. I think the closest big city, actually, a city of any size, is, what do you call it in Lake Superior? Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah, it's not even in Michigan. Duluth, Minnesota would be the closest city of any size. Porcupine Mountains are home to the most extensive stand of old-growth northern hardwood forest in North America west of the Adirondack Mountains, spanning at least 31,000 acres. In these virgin forests, sugar maple, American basswood, eastern hemlock, and yellow birch are the most abundant tree species. State Park was established in 1945 to protect this large stand of old-growth forest, much of the maple hemlock type. In 1972, Michigan passed the Wilderness and Natural Areas Act. This gave the park the new designation of the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park. And it's very interesting that this place was in first place a lot of the time, and it's one of the more remote state parks, so it has really quite a constituency. This is the Lake Superior shore, so that speaks very highly of Porcupine Mountains. I'd really like to get there someday, but I don't know if I will. It's not on my normal driving routes. So what's number one? Number one park in the country that people voted for in this poll last month in March. It is our own Letchworth State Park. New York has two of the top three state parks in this USA 10 Best poll, and Letchworth came in number one. So it got a big fan base out there that really kept the poll going. Nicknamed the Grand Canyon to the east, Letchworth State Park is considered one of the most scenic areas in the eastern U.S. The Genesee River runs through a gorge cutting through the park, passing over three magnificent waterfalls along the way. Hikers have access to 66 miles of trail, and rafting, kayaking, horseback riding, mountain biking, and hot air ballooning are also offered. Blah, blah, blah. See, so is one of the most... Okay, this is the New York State Parks website. You can see they have already got it on there. Voted best in the nation in 2015. Okay. Look at the canyon. It's... Genesee River cuts between cliffs nearly 600 feet high in some places. There's a location on the Genesee River south of Rochester, west of the Finger Lakes, a couple of hours west of Ithaca. Middle Falls, within the park, there are 3 large waterfalls in the Genesee River and as many as 50 waterfalls found on tributaries that flow into it. 3 major falls are Upper, Middle, and Lower Falls, located in the Portage Canyon in the southern part of the park. Pretty cool, huh? The Upper Falls, in autumn, obviously. The Middle Falls of the Genesee River. And the Lower Falls, and it's actually a footbridge, the only place where a trail crosses the canyon. Experiencing Letchworth by hot air balloon is an unforgettable experience, I'm told. I've never done it. The historic, completely restored Glen Inn offers overnight accommodations and is open to the public for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The deep gorge formed by the river prompted the area's reputation as the Grand Canyon of the East. Okay, so I'm running out of time here. I'm going to run part of a video about Watkins Glen that I just made.
At the top of the stairs above Minnehaha Falls, you enter Cavern Gorge, so called because it is dark and narrow, almost like a cavern without a ceiling. At the back is Cavern Cascade, the first of 2 waterfalls you can actually walk behind. There is a reason in the rocks why you can do this. On the way toward the waterfall, the rock wall left of the trail is concave or hollowed away from you. The wall on the opposite side of the gorge is hollowed as well, at the same level. If you look more closely, you can notice a thin horizontal layer of crumbly rock in the middle of the hollow. This is shale, which is easily broken apart by the freezing and thawing of groundwater flowing through joints and between rock layers. The rocks above and below this layer of shale are siltstone, which is tougher than shale. The shale layers are weak zones that erode more rapidly all around the gorge. It is this hollowing in the wall that permits you to walk behind the waterfall.
Okay, thanks for joining me. That's all we can do today.